Hi, I'm Shayla, and welcome back to my channel. Or I guess I could also say welcome if this is your first time joining us. And for those who have been here before, it might feel like your first time all over again because I have not been on YouTube, I think since September maybe, but I think the last monthly matcha video I did was from August, and we are now in February of the following year, so I am way behind. So this is not going to be your typical monthly matcha. I would never be able to, like, this video would be way too long if I did what I normally do in my monthly matcha videos for each month since August. For those of you that are new here, monthly matcha is my version of Lindsay Puckett's monthly coffee chats that she does, and I typically talk about writing, reading, and life. So I'm gonna just go through monthly, starting with September, a little bit about what's been going on with me, and I'm gonna go a little bit out of order this time. I'm gonna go with reading first, and I'll do my favorite book that I read each month. And then I will dive into life and just talk about like one or two big things that happened each month. And then we'll save writing for last because I have some big news, which if you've already read the description or looked at the clip image for this video, then you already know what it is, but we're gonna save the best for last, so that'll be at the very end of the video. So with that being said, let's dive into reading. I guess also before we start, I call it the monthly matcha because I can't even say normally because it just really depends on when I film. Typically I should have a glass of matcha while I'm recapping my month, but I'm recording after 6 p.m. So matcha is not the best idea. I don't want to have that much caffeine. Plus I already had a chai this morning. I met with my writing group, and then I had an Alani later in the day. Well, later after writing group, but earlier than now. So I actually have a cocktail, and I will be sipping on this while I go through the things. So I went back and looked at Goodreads, and it appears I did not read anything in September. We get to life updates. There was just a lot going on. I had started back heavily in my graduate certificate program, and there was just a lot of like moving parts. So I apparently didn't finish. I know I definitely read, but I didn't finish reading anything except for a book for school. So yeah, we'll have to skip September for reading. Moving on to October, my favorite book that I read was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clyworth. That was a reread for me, so I did not choose it to be the one to talk about here. My book club chose it, and so of course I reread it, and it was just as amazing as it was the first time I read it. So my favorite book that I read in October was actually Save the Cat Writes Horror, and it is a new craft book out of the Save the Cat series based on the screenwriting book by Blake Snyder. And I have the physical copy, and I just spent like 10 minutes trying to find it. I have no idea where it is. It might be like tucked away somewhere in my office upstairs. So I will just put an image of it somewhere on the screen. And yeah, this was a good craft book. I enjoyed it because it did have a lot of different elements than what's in the Monster in the House section of the regular Save the Cat Writes novel book. I will say I still enjoy the Save the Cat Writes a novel a little bit more for writing books, because Save the Cat Writes Horror was horror screenplays. It was not just horror novels. So I do eventually at some point do want to adapt my books into screenplays. So I think that book will become helpful then. But it was definitely interesting, and I enjoyed it, and I will definitely be reading it again at some point. So yeah, so I picked it as my favorite for October. My favorite book for November was Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, which I have my copy. Hold on. Okay, I have my copy here. I don't know. I guess because of my face. Anyways, yes, it's this book, and this is actually signed by the author. I went to Rachel's book signing in September, but didn't get around to reading the book until I think I started in October and finished it in November. And this is, I think, my second favorite book of hers. I still think my favorite is Black Sheep, but this one was a close runner-up. It's got the typical Rachel Harrison campy horror style, and yeah, I am not going to say too much about it. It is about a haunted house, but not in the way you think. The house is possessed by a demon instead of a human being possessed by the demon, which I thought was like a cool take on the haunted house. My favorite book from December was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I was behind on reading this, and I will say it was a book that I needed at the time that I read it. I was going through some heavy stuff personally, and I needed this popcorn thriller. Me and two of my girlfriends were planning to go see it in theaters, and so I wanted to read the book before I saw the movie, and I flew through this, I think, in like 2 days. I finished it, and so yeah, very, very popcorn thriller, and I just ate it up. My favorite book from January was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. Again, I'll put the image up on the screen somewhere. I let a friend borrow my copy, so I don't have it right now, and again, it was another one that did not take me long to read. I think I read it pretty soon, if not right after The Housemaid. And Riley Sager always has those twists and turns, especially there at the end, and I pride myself on being able to guess them, and there was one twist in the story that I did not guess, and I was very shocked by. So yeah, definitely loved that one. I think I rated it 5 stars, so check that one out if you have not already. And that wraps up the reading portion of this video. I will save February. This is currently, I want to say February 22nd or 23rd. Okay. Mojo. I'm trying to work. And so it's the last week of February, and I'm gonna try to get back on my regular posting schedule for monthly matcha anyways. So I'll say February books for the February monthly matcha. But yeah, that's it for reading. So let's move on to life. So when January hit, I waited, I want to say maybe after the first week of the new year, and I was kind of like in a place where it was like my email was dry. You know how people say like my phone's so dry because I'm not getting any text messages? That's how I felt my inbox was on my email from querying. I started querying She Doesn't Live Here at the end of July, beginning of August. And I queried in batches, and I was met with a lot of silence. I got form rejections here or there, but really it was mostly just silence. And around the holidays, of course, I heard nothing. A lot of people don't hear things around the holidays, so that was pretty normal and expected. But I had been met with so much silence, and with the things going on in my personal life, I was ready to like just give all I had to querying She Doesn't Live Here, and I was ready to like do that and then also move on to a new project if I needed to. She Doesn't Live Here was the second book that I queried, and I was gonna be fine if I had to query a third project. So I was like, I'm gonna just send out a huge batch of queries to a lot of agents that I have been like waiting on, because I hadn't really gotten any feedback. So I didn't know what to do with my query. I didn't know if my query needed work. I didn't know if my opening pages needed work. I had heard no feedback at all, except for a pitch contest I had won, and the editor who read my project said that she would have been, like, if she had received the submission, she would be compelled to ask for more. Like, she would want to read it. So that's the only feedback I had, and I was like, well, that's good feedback, and it's the feedback I have to go on. So, I mean, what do I have to lose at this point? So I sent out a big batch of queries, and I want to say like 4 days, maybe 5 days after I sent out that big batch, I heard back from an agent who wanted to read the full. And then soon after that, the agent requested a call. And all that to say, and just to like jump to the tail end of it, because I have another video coming soon that explains, or that goes more into detail. But sending out that big batch of queries has resulted in me getting a literary agent. So it's Sunday. Monday of this week, I sent the email accepting an offer of representation from an agent, and yeah, I have an agent. I'm represented for She Doesn't Live Here. And like, I'm speechless. It hasn't really hit me. I met with my writing group this morning, and one of the women in my group ended up moving. So it's just me and another woman right now who are meeting, my friend Sarah, and she was like, so has it sunk in yet? And I was like, no, not yet. It's too soon. It hasn't sunk in, but it's still so exciting at the same time. It was so odd. She had sent me a message yesterday and was like, hey, agented author, are we still meeting tomorrow? And I was like, oh, that's me. Yeah, so what a wild turn of events from complete silence to having representation for a book that means so much to me. So, of course, I documented most of the journey, not all, but I did document most of it. So I am currently editing that video and putting it together, so it'll be up soon. But I did want to share the news here in our little chatty catch-up video, and I can't wait to share more. So yeah, be on the lookout for another video, and we're going to talk all about the query journey, and you'll get to see some footage of my sanity or lack thereof during the process. So yeah. Yep. So that is going to be it for this monthly matcha. Really was just a September through January wrap up, and I will try my best to stay on a better schedule with the monthly matchas. I still am in school, so a lot of my time and energy is on that. I want to say 3 more classes. I'll be done this summer, so that's exciting. But I will try my best, and also try my best to film some other videos. A lot of my writing is focused on school, so because of that, the stuff going on in my personal life, and also the whole tail end of my querying journey, I haven't really done much writing otherwise. But I did today with my writing group, and then also a little bit after when I got home, start working on a new project that I am fleshing out. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some more writing vlogs this year as well. Thank you for joining me for this monthly matcha wrap-up chatty video, and I'll be back with the querying journey video, so be on the lookout for that. And thank you for joining me. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course share. I think someone else would enjoy this video. And of course, I would love for you to subscribe and join my little community. And again, thanks for being here, and I will catch you next time. Bye.